I think in my mind, after spending 20 odd years in this industry, in my mind, there is nothing B2C or B2B. Everything is edge to edge, human to human. Even if you are in B2B world, ultimately you're talking to humans.
Fundamentally, my takeaway is keep learning, be agile, use event as a strategic asset when you build your business. Good day, everybody. Welcome back to an episode of Building in India. Today, I have a very, very special friend and guest. And I'm actually quite honored to have him on the show because I think I'm going to learn a lot more about a subject that's very close to my heart. RP, welcome to the show. And I know we're going to be talking a lot of marketing, but please give an intro about yourself and why marketing is so important to you and so on.
I think thank you for having me on this super exciting episode of your podcast. I've been watching some of your episodes and I was just waiting when will Sandeep call me. So you talked about learning. I think I'll be learning the same amount from you as well. You have been in this business for long. We just started doing our own podcast. So I think the feeling is mutual. Super excited. Marketing is something which is my bread and butter. Ever since I started my career. So there is a lot to be discussed, which we will, I'm sure, as we go with this episode.
How did you know you wanted to be a marketer? When did that start? I know people don't grow up thinking I want to be a marketer. People do grow up thinking that you want to be a doctor or an engineer. But when did it make sense for you that you know enough that you want to be a marketer?
So I think it happened to me right in my pre-placement talks when I was doing my MBA. At that point of time, a lot of my batchmates were getting selected in sales. And that was the only hot stream at that point of time. But that is when I figured out, yaar, ye main nahi kar sakta. I cannot do sales because not my cup of tea. Not that I could not do, but I wanted to be a little more strategic because of my bent for creativity and a little bit of advertising. So that is when I thought, let me try marketing roles first. I had to wait for 6-7 months while all my batchmates were placed already. But I think it was worth the wait. So that is when it triggered that this can be my career.
Interesting, because I circle back to this reference that I've heard many times that sales, you are able to measure attribute always immediately. You know what happens today, this week, this month, etc. Whereas marketing is more longer drawn out. You still have targets, but you do certain things over a period of time and the results are a lot more pronounced over a period of time.
I agree and disagree. Now, yes, sales, you can immediately measure what is working, what is not working. Marketing, you need to have a method to it. You can still figure out what is working, what is converting, what is not, provided you have the proper yardsticks. And that is the problem most of the marketeers face. If you measure everything on one scale, you will never be able to measure it, first of all. You will never be able to evaluate what's working for you. Everything is measurable, especially with digital today. Everything is measurable, provided you have the intent and focus to measure it.
Sure. And today, don't you think that marketers are extremely agile or they have to think very agile? Because everything I'm reading, RP, is changing every 2 months or 3 months. Right? I mean, the old framework and like what you've learned about 4P, 6Ps, whatever, those frameworks are applicable, but those are applicable at a 30,000 feet level. But the real agility comes in terms of tools, process, how do you measure all of that, right?
See, I'm still a very old school. Now, when I say that, basics of marketing they have never changed. They will never change. Consumer will still be a consumer and marketer will still be a consumer, and you need a connection to build that relationship with the consumer. Now, when you say agility, that is where execution comes in. You need to be agile in execution. You are not changing your understanding of the consumer behavior. You still need to understand consumer behavior. No technology will help you understand. It will help once you understand consumer behavior, the technology will help you get faster to him in a very relevant contextual manner, and that is where agility plays a huge role. Tools play a huge role in connecting in a better way. But basics of marketing, have they changed? Not at all.
No. Yeah. So here is the thing I struggle with, RP. I mean, I struggle with the fact that I work with a lot of founders.
Yeah.
And I work with a lot of B2B founders more than D2C or B2C founders. And sometimes B2B founders deprioritize brand and marketing over other things like sales, product, tech. And I always struggle because I have to explain to them, you have to think consumer insights first. It might be a B2B problem that you're solving, but it's like you said, it's still the same framework. If you don't understand your consumer completely well in relation to what is doing inside the org, how the problem is being solved or the problem that exists, you're not going to be able to message, brand, and communicate properly.
Absolutely. So I think in my mind, after spending 20 odd years in this industry, in my mind, there is nothing B2C or B2B. Everything is edge to edge, human to human. Even if you are in B2B world, ultimately you're talking to humans.
Yes.
Therefore, the relationship, the trust factor never goes away. It is always part of your 6 month long or a 1 year long sales cycle. So marketing can help you strengthen that relationship, that trust factor, because sales guys will go to the customer once, twice, thrice. That's about it. But with marketing, you can build that continuous rapport throughout the year in form of content, in form of whatever you want to do for that 1 year. But marketing allows you to build and strengthen that relationship. So it's not a question of either or.
This one really interesting story you told me in the past, which I want to delve on. I remember you moving to Singapore at some point in time.
Yeah.
And you were working for an org at that particular point in time. And one of the things that you did fundamentally changed multi-tens and 100x the amount of money that was spent on digital.
Yeah.
Can you give us a gist of that story? Even without naming certain brands or companies, it'll be interesting to note.
Yeah, so I got a chance to work with the world's largest FMCG company, and I was managing their digital mandate for 23 brands across Asia. Now, when I joined, they were spending close to $300,000 a year.
$300,000.
$300,000 a year.
Okay.
When I left,
This is across 23 brands.
across 23 brands, 7 markets.
Okay.
When I left in 15 months, of my, I would say, rigor with them, they were spending $3 million in 15 months' time. Now, that 15-month journey is nothing less than a training program for their brand managers on a day-to-day basis on how things work. Eventually, that company knew how many impressions do I need to consume on digital to sell 1 bottle of shampoo.
Wow. And that leads up to the very interesting question. This accidental event journey, how did it start? What was the nebulous of that journey?
So it started with the same brand or same within the same stint. So I was working on this brand, a shampoo brand. They wanted to do a content program where they did not want to talk about shampoo, but hair problems. Because nobody goes to Google to search for shampoos.
Sure.
You go to Google to search for hair problems.
Sure.
Dandruff, hair fall, whatever.
Yeah.
So they said whenever people are searching, we want to give solutions to them in form of blogs. Blogs were very popular.
Yeah, I mean, you're just providing them the good articles or education sort of information?
So there was a portal, yahoo.com,
Yeah.
very popular at that, number one at that point of time.
I know both of us feel very old, but
So they had a section called Style Factor.
yeah.
Yahoo Style Factor. So we partnered with them.
Yeah.
We powered their hair care section,
Got it.
powered by this brand. And we created a year-long program. This was a global case study because it was first ever such long-term content program. And that is where my interest in
So Yahoo was not actually, Yahoo itself was surprised that you would want to do something like this. They
Yahoo
various
had never
sections.
done one
Okay.
year long campaign.
Got it.
Because on digital, nobody does one year
Nobody does, yeah.
long campaigns.
Yeah.
You know? So we created this program, super successful, global case study, replicated in US for the same brand, and that is where my interest for content as a subject started. And then while I was still working, I thought let me train people on how content can be used for marketing, because I was a digital marketing trainer by then. I was also training on the side.
So till that particular point in time, RP, content was used only for SEO and leaflets and other articles that give information.
Yeah.
The world didn't know content marketing
Absolutely.
per se, right?
Yeah, there was nothing called content marketing, and content was primarily used for SEO.
Yeah.
And that also, the wrong side of SEO, the wrong type of, because you would stuff your
All the stuffings, keyword, article stuffing, yeah.
That was not content actually.
Yeah.
So the real content marketing started 10-15 years back, I would say, when brands understood power of content. Because I have this saying, anything that goes to a consumer apart from the product or the service is actually content.
It's actually content.
So you have so many opportunities to connect with the consumer, and the only currency you have is content. Whether it is video format, text format, SMS, whatever it is, eventually it is content. So how can you not care for this important?
Yeah, even if it's a product, what comes inside the packaging is content. What you articulate and communicate makes a hell lot of difference in terms of him or her understanding what is your brand ethos, what does the product stand up. So, if I would look at it from the other side,
Yeah.
I'm a young founder. I've raised some amount of capital. Let's say I'm a B2B founder, so obviously B2B World Summit or a similar B2B event makes sense. How does a young founder deal with which event should he go to? How should he prepare himself? And obviously, young founders don't have very established marketing teams.
Yeah.
Sub $5 million races.
Yeah.
So what are the kind of dynamics in play, and is there some framework or method that you would want people to think about before they commit themselves to event as a channel for growth?
I think because your competitor is doing events, that should not be the reason. You should have your own reason of going to or participating in a specific event. If you figure out that question, that's a huge question to answer. Should you do events? Should you not? But once you cross that stage, what is your expectation from the event? A lot of people who come to us as potential sponsors or partners come to us asking for very, very simple things like, will you put our logo on stage? Will we be able to put some standees here and there? And that to me does nothing to a company. You need to integrate with the event that you're participating in at a very deeper level. And if you go to an event 7 days prior to the event, if you partner with events pretty late, you cannot derive anything out of the partnership that you create. For us, event partnership is in 3 phases: pre-event, during event, post-event.
Yeah.
And we pay equal attention and focus
Sure.
to all three phases. Most of the events and most of the sponsors of events focus on during the day,
During the event.
during the event, and on one single day you can only do as much. The beauty lies in pre-event and post-event. When you engage your attendees pre-event, they are warm enough to talk to you on the day of the event,
Sure.
and therefore you can follow it up better post-event. So when new founders or new startups want to partner with an established event, don't do it for branding, or I would say don't do it purely for branding. Branding you should get purely by virtue of being associated with the event. That's how we give deliverables to our partners.
Got it.
I always tell my partners that forget about branding, forget about visibility. That is given.
That is already given, right?
That is
You've
table
already
stakes.
partnered with it, yeah.
What else we can do? How we can help you achieve your objective for the next 3 months? Nobody thinks like that. If startups are able to plan this event engagement in this way, I think they will be able to get better value from any event that they partner.
So essentially, what you're trying to tell me is, hey, don't look at an event just from a branding or a lead generation point of view. Think of overall what is your objective. That's number one. Second takeaway I got was, don't do things last minute. Be very choosy who you partner with, but have that time so that you plan properly. What are you going to do pre-event, event, post-event with the event organizer?
Absolutely.
Where do you think marketing is headed? What advice would you give to, say, somebody who's just finished college? Or just think about yourself or myself, MBA, deciding whether to go to an MBA or not. Where do you think this is heading? And where should people position themselves to kind of capitalize on the shifts?
Let me give you a very different analogy to this. Marketing today is like IT. Why I'm saying this? When you are in IT, you need to be on your toes. You need to learn and unlearn very quickly, because the languages that you learned yesterday
Not applicable.
not applicable today. Same goes for marketing today. While the basics don't change, you still need consumer behavior understanding. You still need to understand your consumer very well. But how to connect with him is changing every day. In my time, it was Facebook, or Orkut,
Yes, or free Facebook.
pre-Facebook, or even MSN Spaces.
Yeah.
So these platforms have changed, have evolved over time. Newer platforms have emerged. They will keep emerging. That is where you need to be on your toes all the time to see where is consumer going. And that is the IT part of it. The way you learn about new languages, coding languages, every 6 months.
So it's like you're saying that the platforms will change and evolve. You need to keep up with the platforms.
Yeah. So you need to learn and unlearn very fast. So today we are all talking about AI and how AI will replace everything and whatever. I'm not going into details of whether it will do that or not. But one thing is for sure, if you don't know how to give prompts to any LLM,
Sure.
you will not survive in marketing.
Yeah.
Because eventually AI will play a huge role in marketing, especially in personalization or content creation, in those areas. And as we have discussed, marketing is all about content.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So you're saying put the core emphasis on learning about the consumer. How is she shifting? Understand evolution of platforms, but at the same time, be nimble enough to figure out what you need to use from a tool point of view, from an LLM point of view, so that you can make the best decisions and build for the consumer or connect with the consumer.
In the last 1 year or so, I've spoken to some people in my trainings. Some people think tools is equal to strategy, which is the biggest mistake anyone can do. Tools is not your strategy. tools will help in your
Executing your execution. Yeah.
So if tools is your strategy,
Uh,
that's the wrong step. I was talking to a CMO of a very large Indian FMCG brand. They said, we want to deploy some AI tools. Can you suggest some? I said, one very simple question. Have you mastered Excel, Microsoft Excel? He said, what do you mean? I said, have you used it properly? Because if you use Excel properly, you don't need any analytics tool. He said, and if you buy any analytics tool today, all of the tools have export to Excel option. Why is that? If ultimately we are using Excel,
I mean, the analytics tools are actually lying one layer above the Excel, right?
So,
end of the day.
For most of your work in marketing, in analytics, I think Excel is enough. So don't get fascinated by tools. I'm not against tools. I use a lot of tools myself. But what is the role that play in your day-to-day routine is something you need to figure out very, very closely, very deeply. Don't take tools because everybody is talking about tools. Master the Excel first.
Got it. So you think that, or based on your interaction with a lot of CMOs and marketers, that the willingness, so people use ChatGPT, unfortunately, like they use Google. The power is a lot more.
Yes.
Whether it's a Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever. But do you see a lot more marketing leaders going towards really understanding what more they can do without calling the IT department, without calling a junior marketer? Because the end of the day, it's empowerment, right? I mean, these tools are actually giving you a layer of analysis that was not possible earlier.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it is happening in batches or in parts. So there will always be some marketers who will always be ahead of
Early adopters.
Today there are courses available on how to give prompts.
Yeah.
So it has come to that level.
Yeah.
And there will always be some marketers who would need those kind of courses.
Yeah.
So yes, there is a need to understand all these platforms, but I'm going back to my previous point. Even if you learn how to use Claude or ChatGPT today, 6 months later, there will be some other tools, for sure.
It'll be other different variations of
different variations. So you need to be on your toes. You need to be, the mindset has to change. The learning can come quickly if your mindset is ready to adopt and to adapt.
I think I had an awesome time talking to you, RP, and I think we're going to definitely chat a lot more better. But thank you so much for actually taking the time out to actually give your gyan on a lot of these things. I know we talked about a lot of these things, but fundamentally my takeaway is keep learning, be agile, use event as a strategic asset when you build your business, and consume knowledge. And networking is one part of it. It's not the end all of events, and that's how you build and stay abreast of technology.
Absolutely.
If these are the key.
Yeah, you nailed it perfectly. These are the proper takeaways which I wanted to, I wanted people to remember. So thank you for bringing me here. Finally, it happened. As I said, I was waiting for you.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a matter of time. And last shout out is I would like to give our super thanks and support to GoFloaters who managed to organize the space. See you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandeep.